name is Patrick King, and in this video we'll talk about wrongful death cases, primarily in the state of Illinois. At Miller King, we do practice personal injury, and one of the areas that we concentrate and focus in is called wrongful death. Wrongful death can have two different sides of the coin. Let's say one can be criminal. So if we take a hypothetical example of somebody who is involved in a traffic crash where a person dies, and the at-fault driver perhaps was intoxicated or under the influence, there could be criminal charges filed, such as maybe a reckless homicide, aggravated DUI, etc. On the other side of the coin, we'll call it the civil side. The goal on the civil side, on the wrongful death and personal injury side, is compensation. And the goal would be that the loss would be someone's life, which no amount of money can ever make up for the loss of life. But the only remedy that we have, unfortunately, is to seek monetary or financial compensation. And that process is handled much like a personal injury case, where a file is opened and someone from the family will serve as the representative, or a special administrator, independent administrator, or even the executor of the estate. And they will go ahead and bring the case, the claim, or file a lawsuit on behalf of a person's estate. A person's estate is really a way that the person who has died, we can seek compensation under their name through their estate. And the administrator or executor, etc., is tasked to go ahead and either settle a claim or bring a lawsuit against the at-fault parties. And there could be several involved. It could be the at-fault driver. If it's a company-owned vehicle, the company could be responsible. It could be bars or restaurants that overserve somebody, called a Dram Shop Act. And so the purpose of a wrongful death case on the civil side is to seek compensation for the loved ones that survive, loss of support, grief, loss of consortium. And it's all based upon the survivors and their dependency upon their loved one. They're very unfortunate and they're very tragic. And the point of a wrongful death case would be to seek fair and reasonable compensation for the death of a loved one. That's on the civil side. And as I mentioned earlier, there could be, it may be a criminal side to the case. But the purpose of this video really is just to describe the basics of a wrongful death case. Some people don't understand, does that mean criminal or civil? It can mean both. And sometimes it means both at the same time. In order to determine whether or not there is a wrongful death case, the best thing to do is to seek the advice and counsel of an attorney. And an experienced attorney will investigate whether or not the death was caused not through natural causes, but rather through the fault, negligence, or conduct of another party, such as an individual, a company, corporation, or several different people. The example I gave is a DUI case in which an intoxicated or drunk driver hits and crashes into an innocent person. That innocent person then, through their estate, would have the ability or right to investigate whether or not the at-fault party is truly at fault, negligent, exercise reckless disregard for other safety, etc. So really the only way to determine whether or not you have a wrongful death case is to investigate it. And how is that done? Police reports, witness statements, interviews, reading of different news outlet reports. You try to look at the whole picture, the big picture, and see whether or not the innocent person was killed through the fault or negligence of a third party. The value of a wrongful death case, again, there's no amount of money that can replace a person's life, but the value of wrongful death cases is only determined after careful and thorough investigation, research, and working on the file. So if someone came to me on day one and said that my loved one was killed through a fault of somebody else's, it could be medical malpractice, it could be mesothelioma, asbestos, it could be automobile, it could be a semi-tractor trailer case, we will not know the value of the case until we thoroughly investigate, conduct research, take witness statements, and really develop the case. We also have to look at the loved one who died, their financial situation. Are there lost wages? Are there lost future wages or lost earning capacity? Were they married? Were they single? Did they have children? Did they have an impact in the community? What was their life like? And you have to examine all these factors, which can be stressful and anxiety-riddled for the family. But with an experienced attorney, it can be handled in such a professional way, manner in which you develop that case over a period of time. And again, wrongful death cases can take a significant amount of time. Generally, when a settlement or a verdict is reached, it generally happens through a court process because there could be minors involved, there could be a disabled adult involved. Therefore, sometimes you need court orders and a court of jurisdiction to help resolve the case or to give it finality. If you believe that your loved one was killed or died wrongfully, I would say call us and let's do it. Let's set up and let's conduct a personalized face-to-face meeting. As we're filming this right now, we're in the middle of a worldwide pandemic known as the coronavirus, so we can always live video conference. We can say for social distance. So I would say a personalized meeting of some type is absolutely necessary to discuss these various and serious factors. The initial meeting and really all meetings are protected by the attorney-client privilege. Now there are some rules as to how that happens, but one client, one lawyer, attorney-client privilege, confidentiality attaches, privilege attaches, meaning you can have an open, honest, candid conversation and not be worried about information being leaked out and whatnot. So I would say a personalized meeting is always the best approach, especially when it comes to something as tragic and sensitive and heartbreaking as the death of a loved one.